Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging headfirst into, well, an F1 earthquake.
Yeah, definitely feels like one.
Imagine, if you will, the relentless pressure cooker of elite sports, where fortunes can shift in, like, the blink of an eye. Now, picture the most dominant, seemingly unshakable force in that world suddenly being rocked, right to its absolute core.
And that's exactly what seems to have happened in Formula One.
Precisely.
Indeed. We're talking about the truly shocking news of Christian Horner's departure as CEO and team principal of Red Bull Racing.
Shocking is the word. 20 years, right?
Decades. He's been this immovable fixture, really the architect of all that success.
That unparalleled success.
And now, just like that, with immediate effect, he's out.
And for this deep dive, we've meticulously pored over a whole stack of sources, detailed video transcripts from outlets like F1 blogs, multiple news articles giving different angles, different insights.
Yeah, trying to piece it all together.
Exactly. Our mission today is clear. We're going to meticulously unpack the entire timeline, how this all unfolded, explore the complex, multi-layered reasons behind this sudden shift.
Because it doesn't seem simple, does it?
Not at all. And then really understand its immense implications for Red Bull Racing and, perhaps most critically, its superstar driver, Max Verstappen.
The Verstappen question looms large.
Definitely. And finally, we'll consider Christian Horner's lasting legacy and maybe speculate a bit on what his future might hold.
Where does he go from here?
Our goal is for you to walk away with a comprehensive, crystal clear understanding of this F1 shakeup without feeling, overwhelmed by it all.
There's a lot to take in.
So if you're looking for the inside track on what is arguably the biggest F1 story in years, you've certainly come to the right place. Let's unpack this.
Okay, let's start right at the moment this shockwave hit. The scene at Red Bull's Milton Keynes campus yesterday and this morning.
Yeah.
Well, by all accounts, it was one of profound shock. Deep sadness, even.
You really have to picture the scale of that place, don't you?
Absolutely. It's crucial to understand this facility has grown dramatically, exponentially, under Horner's leadership over the last 20 years.
Right.
From barely a third of its current footprint, it now boasts a workforce of well over 1,000 people just on the car side.
1,000 people.
And that's not even counting the engine factory, the new wind tunnel. It's a vast empire he built there.
Yeah, you can almost feel the emotion hanging in the air reading those reports. The decision itself, we understand, was finalized yesterday, July 8th, by the Red Bull board.
Okay, so
communicated directly to Christian Horner that same day. And then pretty swiftly, senior sponsorship partners were informed yesterday evening.
So the key players knew quickly.
Seems like it. Then this morning, 10:30 a.m. UK time, Horner addressed the staff.
Right.
And reports describe it as hugely emotional, so emotional that he apparently broke down sometimes.
Wow.
And received a massive ovation from the workforce. People clearly very loyal to him.
That says a lot, doesn't it? Even in that moment.
It absolutely does. That loyalty, it's a testament to his leadership style, I think.
For sure. Then by 10:35 a.m. UK time, so just 35 minutes later, he'd left the campus, seen looking quite impassive as he drove away.
Impassive after all that emotion.
Yeah. And what's critical here is the immediate lockdown. Staff explicitly instructed, make no comments. Nothing.
Wow.
All official communication handled directly by Red Bull's Salzburg office.
So head office taking complete control.
Exactly. And adding to the drama, two other senior management figures, apparently with close connections to Horner, also left their employment at Red Bull at the exact same time.
Okay, that is telling. That suggests something more coordinated, perhaps a wider clear out.
It certainly hints at that, yeah, a wider sweep.
And the official confirmation from Red Bull followed pretty quickly after that.
It did. Confirmed Horner's release with immediate effect. And importantly, appointing Laurent MEKIES as CEO.
MEKIES, okay.
Oliver Mintzlaff, Red Bull's CEO of sporting projects, put out a statement. Publicly expressed gratitude for Horner's exceptional work, called his commitment, experience, innovative thinking instrumental. The usual stuff.
Making Red Bull one of F1's most attractive and successful teams, it's a very diplomatic statement, isn't it?
Extremely.
For such a sudden, dramatic departure, it feels like they're trying to paper over some pretty deep cracks.
It certainly has that feel, which, brings us neatly to the legacy itself.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Christian Horner's 20-year tenure. Until now, the longest-serving team principal in F1 history.
Incredible statistic.
And he took the helm at just 31. 31. That's remarkably young for that kind of pressure cooker role.
It really is. And this wasn't just a job for him, was it? It felt like his life's work.
Absolutely.
It's truly incredible when you consider the trajectory. He took what was essentially the struggling Jaguar team.
Which itself came from Stewart.
Right, and transformed it, not just into a competitor, but into an absolute dominant force.
Yeah, we're talking about a level of success that, well, few in any sport ever achieve.
Unprecedented, really, is the only word, isn't it?
I think so. Under his leadership, Red Bull Racing secured a staggering total of 14 world titles.
14.
8 drivers' championships, 6 constructors. It's just astonishing.
He was there for Seb Vettel's incredible run, those 4 titles from 2010 to 2013.
Mm-hmm. And then, more recently, oversaw Max Verstappen's equally dominant 4 consecutive titles from 2021 to 2024.
The numbers just speak for themselves, don't they? 124 victories, 107 poles, 287 podiums.
It's not just winning races, that's sustained dominance, carving out multiple eras of success.
And his contributions went way beyond just the pit wall calls, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He was instrumental in getting key figures like ADRIAN on board.
The legend himself.
Maintaining that highly competitive technical structure, pushing for investment in the Milton Keynes facilities, making them state-of-the-art.
This wasn't just a job, it was an obsession for him.
You get that sense?
He famously never missed a single race since taking charge in 2005.
Not one.
Not one. That's not just commitment. That's almost superhuman dedication.
It really is. A rare feat in any sport, let alone the grind of F1.
So the legacy is undeniable, but now we have to ask the big question, what truly led to this departure?
Exactly. Because while no single explicit reason has been officially given,
No smoking gun.
no, our sources consistently point to a culmination and combination of factors, deeply interconnected factors.
Right.
This wasn't just one domino falling. It was many. And some had been, well, simmering for quite some time.
Okay, so here's where it gets really compelling, isn't it? One major factor that, despite him being cleared officially,
Cleared twice.
just kept lingering. Seemed like it wouldn't go away. Those accusations of inappropriate behavior.
Right. He was cleared by both external and internal investigations, thoroughly, by all accounts.
Yet, as the reports say, the allegations linger on, and they clearly caused deep divisions, not just inside the team, but across the wider paddock.
That F1 paddock. It's a unique environment, isn't it? Tight-knit, but also full of gossip and scrutiny.
Absolutely. What does it say about that environment that even official clearance couldn't sort of erase the impact?
That's a really crucial point. A legal clearing doesn't always fix the public perception, or, more importantly here, the internal strife.
Yeah, trust is fragile.
Especially in a high-pressure team. That ecosystem can be easily fractured. And beyond that, there's been this perceived lack of rosy relations within that paddock.
Right.
And specifically, this growing rift, reportedly, between Christian Horner and Max Verstappen's camp.
Yeah.
Led by his father, Jos Verstappen.
Who is apparently pretty vocal about his views.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, many people pinpoint the passing of Dietrich Mateschitz in October 2022 as a real turning point.
Red Bull's original owner, the absolute leader.
Exactly. The 49% owner, the undisputed boss. Since his death, sources suggest things started to go wrong. New structures, new power dynamics emerged within the company.
Filling that vacuum, he left.
Precisely. A vacuum where Mateschitz once had absolute authority.
So you've got a power vacuum at the top, these ongoing internal tensions, the external perceptions. It's a potent mix.
A real cocktail.
But it wasn't just personal stuff or power plays, was it? Performance seems to have played a significant role, too.
Yes. And this might surprise some people. You think Red Bull won races brilliantly this year. And they have.
Max has been incredible.
But what's startling, truly startling, is they've been outscored in the last 4 races by Kick Sauber.
Sauber. That's astounding for Red Bull.
It's an incredible statistic for a team used to absolute dominance. It really tells you something about underlying performance issues.
So where do they stand right now?
Well, this raises a serious question about their current competitive standing. As of now, Red Bull is, surprisingly, 4th in the Constructors' Championship, 172 points.
4th? Behind who?
A long way behind McLaren's 460 points,
Right.
Also trailing Ferrari and Mercedes.
Wow.
And Max Verstappen, really as a testament to his sheer talent, is 3rd in the Drivers' Championship with 165 points.
Which means he's basically carrying the team, points-wise.
Absolutely. He's bringing in the lion's share of the points because, frankly, the car itself is struggling much more than the headlines might suggest. Max is doing miracles to get those results.
It's a clear sign the car just isn't where it needs to be for a title fight right now.
No, not consistently.
And it's not just the overall performance curve. There have been some questionable decisions cited too, haven't there?
Yes. Reports mention things like the alleged firing of Sergio Perez.
Yeah.
Apparently costing them a big payout for his contract.
2 years, I read.
And losing significant sponsors linked to him, which is a big deal in Mexico.
Huge deal. Then the whole situation with the second car this year, alternating Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, seemingly without a clear strategy or getting a big improvement in results from it.
These aren't just minor missteps, are they? They seem to point to a deeper instability. In operations, in strategy.
I think so. And that instability is profoundly underlined by a really significant exodus of key people from Red Bull recently.
The brain drain.
A massive brain drain. We've seen ADRIAN, their legendary technical director, leave for Aston Martin, effective September 2024.
Huge loss.
Jonathan Wheatley, the highly respected sporting director, moved to Kick Sauber in August 2024.
Another big one.
Rob Marshall, head of aerodynamics, went to McLaren back in 2023. Others like Courtney mentioned too.
It's not just 1 or 2 people.
Now, these departures collectively signal what some Spanish reports called a derrumbe or seísmo, basically, an earthquake within the team's technical and operational core. It's a huge loss of talent and experience for a championship team.
Okay, so that paints a really complex picture, a tapestry of moving parts, and maybe the single biggest question mark hanging over all of this is, well, what we're calling the Verstappen factor.
Yeah, it's Max.
His importance to Red Bull is just immense. We can't stress this enough. Without him, the team would absolutely be struggling.
No question.
Likely sitting 4th, maybe even 5th in the championship. He is by far bringing in that lion's share of the points, really masking some of the card struggles and maybe the team's wider issues.
And what's truly fascinating here is his contract situation.
Right. He's got that long deal till 2028.
A formidable contract.
Yeah.
But critically, it includes exit clauses related directly to performance.
Performance clauses.
Which gives him leverage. And that leverage has naturally fueled intense speculation, especially with Toto Wolff and Mercedes.
Who've made no secret of wanting him.
Not at all. Their interest is long-standing, very public, and they still have that unconfirmed 2026 driver lineup.
The pieces are definitely there for a potential dramatic move.
They are.
So this raises an incredibly compelling question for us. Does Horner's departure make it more likely or less likely for Max to actually stay at Red Bull?
It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Some strong gut feelings, whispers in the paddock, suggest it's actually more likely he'll stay now.
Really? Why?
Because the personal conflict with Horner, which was clearly becoming strained, well, that's now removed.
Okay.
It suggests that Horner's departure might even have been, maybe not explicitly stated, but effectively a requirement from the Verstappen camp to secure Max's future there.
Wow. If true, that's a huge shift in the power dynamic within a top team. Almost unprecedented.
It really would be. Max's public response to all this was quite escueto, as the Spanish press called it, brief.
Very brief.
Shared a carefully worded message on social media, just thanking Horner for their shared successes. Nothing more.
Very diplomatic. Highlights his careful approach to this whole sensitive situation.
Exactly. His manager, Raymond Vermeulen, was a bit more direct. Stated Red Bull informed them in advance.
Okay.
And that their singular focus remains squarely on the sporting aspect and seeking more performance.
Right. Very businesslike, forward-looking, keep the focus on the track amidst all the turmoil. It underlines their priorities. Okay, so with Christian Horner, the 2-decade architect, now gone, a new chapter begins for Red Bull. A somewhat uncertain one.
Definitely uncertain. Laurent MEKIES, promoted from Racing Bulls, or VCARB as we knew it, steps in as the new CEO.
And what's compelling about MEKIES is his background, isn't it?
Incredibly strong background. Extensive experience from Ferrari, from Toro Rosso before that, and crucially from the FIA, the governing body itself.
That FIA experience is key.
It makes him a very logical choice. Many would say the right choice for this interim period at least. Brings stability, deep institutional knowledge.
And Alan Permane takes Mickey's old role at Racing Bulls.
Yes, another highly experienced hand moving into that position.
It definitely seems like a considered move strategically, given the suddenness of it all.
Yeah, they needed stability quickly. Red Bull is clearly deeply in a transition phase, having lost so many key figures beyond just Horner.
And if we connect this to the bigger F1 picture, They face that absolutely massive challenge in 2026.
Monumental, becoming an engine manufacturer for the first time.
Joining Ferrari and Mercedes in making their own power unit, supported by Ford.
It's a gargantuan undertaking, a colossal shift for the team.
And it coincides directly with completely new technical regulations that will reshape the sport.
The timing couldn't be more challenging. It's a huge gamble, especially with all this internal flux.
A truly gargantuan undertaking. It'll be fascinating to see how the management structure evolves around MEKIES. Will he stay as CEO? Will they bring in a separate team principal?
Or will he eventually take on both roles, consolidate power?
Only time will tell how they navigate this new landscape.
For sure.
And what about Christian Horner himself? After 2 relentless decades in that F1 pressure cooker, what's next for him?
That's another fascinating question. He could take some much-needed time off, decompress, reflect.
Or, knowing Horner's drive, maybe we'll see him pop up somewhere else in motorsports sooner rather than later.
The rumors have always swirled, haven't they? Persistent talks of potential future roles at other F1 teams. Alpine, maybe? It's UK-based.
And his old friend Flavio Briatore is involved there now.
Exactly. Or even those persistent Ferrari rumors that pop up over the years. That tells you something about his standing in the sport.
It does. This entire episode, this monumental shift at one of F1's absolute top teams, it really raises crucial questions for the sport as a whole, doesn't it?
Absolutely. How will this reshape the leadership landscape in F1? What does it signal for the future stability or instability of team principals across the whole paddock?
Big questions. And that brings us towards the end of this deep dive into the Red Bull shakeup.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We really have. We've looked at the immediate aftermath, celebrated Christian Horner's storied, incredibly successful legacy, explored that complex, multifaceted web of reasons for his dramatic departure.
Dug into the Max Verstappen factor.
Critically important, and peered into what now lies ahead for both Red Bull Racing and Christian Horner. We sincerely hope you feel truly informed on this, well, F1 earthquake.
Hope we've helped make sense of it.
So the final thought to leave you with. Given this turbulent period, these significant personnel changes, can Red Bull really maintain its winning culture? Can they regain that dominance in F1's rapidly evolving landscape?
Or does this mark the beginning of a new, far more uncertain era for the team?
And what does this mean for the very nature of F1 team principles and that delicate balance of power in the paddock moving forward?
Profound questions. And the answers will only emerge on track and behind the scenes in the coming months and years. It's certainly going to be a fascinating chapter in Formula One history.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive on F1 blogs. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and definitely hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the ever-exciting world of motorsport.